Welcome back. Okay, so here we are with Spirit. I got the boom rigged, but I'm not putting the main on. The boat went into the boatyard like 2 years ago to get a load of work done to it, and then because life changed and children came along and business stuff, the owner's not done that work. We have done all of the restorative work on the bow here, the bow there, and you can see where the pulpit is attached to the bow. As well as the beam over there to the port armor. The board's been out, it's been refinished so that it goes up and down the trunking easier, but everything else is as it was a couple of years ago. So I'm not going to put the main up. It's got the back stays, got the stays, we've got the halyards, we've got a jib, we've got the outboard, we've got lots of fuel, and that's how we're going to run for this. We've got a nice 10-12 knots coming down from the northeast at the moment. I'm going southwest from Portland to Boston, so I'm just going to roll along ahead of it. And not put any pressure on the boat. That's the best way of doing it. It's an instinct to kind of like, you know, how fast can we go? How ready can it be? But it's like, I'd just rather just take this very, very gently. Literally, I'll get there tomorrow, and then the mast is going to come back out again, and we're going to lift the boat and put it up into its new storage area. And our project going forward from here through the winter up till next spring is to get this boat ready to go, and that includes repainting, sorting out all the systems, tidying up everything so that she's functional for a small family to take her out and enjoy her. So the main thing to do now is to get going. So I'm going to focus on that. I'll pick you back up as we get out into the entrance to Portland. Here you can see beautiful conditions, but I have learnt by my chagrin that I shouldn't film myself leaving or arriving because I get distracted, and that's when this kind of thing happens. So I'll see you when we get out there. Bye boys, see you soon. Alright, so that wasn't too bad. Basically just pushed the boat away from the dock and upwind as far as I could, and then leapt on and kept it going in reverse, and then once I got the maximum possible distance, went ahead, knowing that with a trimaran like this, even with the board down a little bit, basically whatever you're doing, you're maneuvering left, right, twisting, turning, doing whatever you think you're doing, but you're also going downwind. So the worry was that I would end up like against that boat where we were docked, but we're all good now. So yeah, let's get some get tied up a bit down here. It's a bit of a mess, but we're on our way. Next stop, Boston. I'm going to jump in here and tell you that we're looking good for 2026. Osprey will be doing all her training events. I've got to get ready for the Global Solo Challenge in 2027. I'm asking people to sponsor, to come on board and then sail with me in the Caribbean 600, Antigua Race Week, and the Newport Bermuda. If you're interested in any of those, please go over to csmthemariner.com, go on the contact form there, tell me a little bit about yourself. We can have a phone conversation. And if everything lines up and it's something that you want to do, you want to be involved in part of the crew, then it's $3,000 in sponsorship. That goes towards the boat exclusively for the Global Solo Challenge event. We've got to get the rigging on board. We've already had the success of the Fastnet 2025, which paid for the new mainsail. We put a 2,150 square foot mainsail onto the boat, 120% of the original sail area. We now need to reinforce and replace the rigging. The Caribbean 600, the Antigua Race Week, and the Newport Bermuda are going to create the funds for that, and then you're going to see all of that work happen here. You'll see the events here, and you'll see me doing all the training, all the sailing I have to do before the start, which for me will be in December of 2027. It's a pursuit event around the world. All the other boats are going to set off a month, 2 months before me, and I've got to try and catch them up. You'll see all of that here on the Mariner. So if you want to come sailing, csmthemariner.com, contact form there, make contact with me, and let's see if it's right for you. I hope so. We had a fantastic time doing the Fastnet event. We've got spaces available in 2026. Come and sail with me. I'd love to see you there. Now back to the video. That's nice. We're just getting clear of the harbour. Got quite a bit of fog on this one, but we do have a radar, which is one up from Osprey. The autopilot's not working. We have a breakage here. Looks like when the rudder's been taken out or something, it's got smashed off. It's not even present in the boat to repair, so no problem. Let's do it by hand, right? What's the longest you've ever helmed for? I have some like apocryphal stories I've heard of 20 hours on the helm, 30 hours on the helm. The longest I've done recently is 14 hours on the middle sea race in 2019. It was very, very heavy conditions, and I was the only one that was able to steer through them. But I've heard some stories that some people get stuck on the helm for 24 hours. Like, here's the deal, whether you're 18 or 80, after 20 hours, everybody is pooched. Then you're in kind of getting by mode, which doesn't seem to be the best possible condition to be in while steering a boat, right? Yeah, stick it down in the comments if you've done more than 14 hours. Alright, so jib's pulling, doing 6 knots. That's my target speed for this. Not expecting much more than that, don't really want much more than that. Backstays on this boat are super light. You can see we've got 12mm Dyneema, which is easily up to the task, and then sort of lots of unknowns above that. So we're just going to let the jib do the work on this one. I just got to find a way to steer this sucker so I can tidy all that lot up. Tidying up as leaving port. I feel like that's kind of standard operating procedure for a sailor. It's not quite how I like to do things, but it is how I do things a lot. So we're nearly past the bit that's the broad reach. Up there, that lighthouse is Portland. And down here, this little head, whatever it's called, will give us the opportunity to bear away. The wind's coming in from the east, and it's due to go northeast. We're going southwest. So this first part's just a bit of a broad reach. The boat's complaining a little bit. Mostly because it's not completely rigged. It's like, I wouldn't want to be going much further than this. We have no mainsail, and to be absolutely honest, I'd like to tension up the stays a little bit, but we've only got another 5 minutes to go. We'll be past this little headland, and we can bear away and it's easy running. We're in much nicer conditions now. You can see we've got a following sea and the wind right off my left shoulder here. It's hard not to love this boat. I've sailed, I don't know, how far have I sailed this boat? Like 3,000 miles, something like that. We did the Caribbean 600, which was awesome. I did the delivery back to Boston, which was, as any delivery is just based around, you know, time and motion and like how long it's going to take to get there. You're not trying to push the boat at its maximum performance. But when we did the 600, we got a bit of a look at this boat's potential. In 1997, this was one of the fastest boats on the water. This was Spirit of England. This is where Brian Thompson cut his teeth. So, just put you under here. Still struggling to find the best way to do audio when sailing. Although, you know, I had Patrick Lane on the boat for the Fastnet. He's just got like a foam sock around his GoPro and it works perfectly. I've still got so much to learn. But yeah, this boat was Spirit of England, and she's fast. She's very fast, and just like this with the jib up only, just kind of pootering down the coast here with a nice wind, it's easy to love her because you can kind of feel how sprightly and jolly she is. She really wants to get going. She's complaining and slapping and banging because, you know, we don't have a mainsail rig, right? But halyards that are just outside the mast. We're only doing 12 hours of sailing, then we're lifting the mast back off. So she's complaining, but she's also complaining in terms of her motion. It's a bit like being on a horse that's, let me get this right, trotting, right? Trotting is easy. Is it cantering? That's like, you can get out of time with a horse and it's very uncomfortable. Whereas once it goes into a gallop, it's very, very smooth. I've only ever ridden a horse a couple times. Once got to gallop, it's like, oh, this is what it's for. Right, got it. And I've always kept that memory, brief though it is, of being on a boat when you're at sea and you kind of get in the groove with it, whatever it's good at. Could be upwind, could be downwind, could be beam reaching, whatever it is, that moment where your boat comes alive. It's a bit like being on a horse when it starts to gallop. You're like, oh yeah, this is cool. So the speeds at the moment, we're doing like, see here, 7.7, 7.6, 7.5. As soon as I let go of the helm, she immediately rounds up. But we can do 8, 9, 10 also if I concentrate and actually go with the swell. So that's with just the jib. It's not bad, is it? So yeah, if we actually had the mainsail up, or if we had some kind of flying sail up, she'd be doing like 15, which is the speed that the waves are doing, and then you get in the groove, then you'd be galloping, right? And she kind of wants to go all the time, saying, no, let's go and replace your rigging. And then we'll do that. So yeah, things good here. Boat's a bit messy, you know. I chucked the mainsail in here. It looks chucked in here. It's as far aft as I can put it without having to put it outside on the back deck, and I don't like putting things on the trampoline. There's no place to really secure things. The boat's riding like bow heavy because she's got all her sails up there. She's got the dinghy's outboard, and the dinghy, no dinghy on this one, just the outboard, but they're all forward, just forward of the mast, and she's sitting quite trimmed down by the nose, which is not really a sailing thing. It's just the fact that when we're trying to drive her around, she has an outboard motor which has got a very, well, feels like a very short shaft when the bow is trimmed heavy and it rears out the water. So it looks thrown in here. It is thrown in here, but it's thrown here specifically. I could neaten it up somehow, probably, but I'm probably not going to. So yeah, we're just going to keep rolling down here. No autopilot, which is a bummer. Although this is coastal sailing, there's definitely people out here. The weather is fit to turn. You can see over here it's pretty dark. The weather could turn on a dime. It's not due to. The overall trend is actually towards it lightening off, and then on the other side of that, 24 hours from now, wind coming from the south. So we don't still want to be out here when that happens. So we can do 6 with the outboard. We've got 10 hours of fuel at least. We've got 100 miles to run. We're doing, yeah, look, 8.5, 9, 9.3. So I think we'll be fine. We'll just stop and I'll have a couple hours sleep with the sails down. The radar will be on. We've got the radar reflector. Maybe that needs rigging. Whoops. The radar reflector on this goes under the radar. There are things like that we want to improve before we go and do too much sailing with this boat, but I think this will be fine. So let's keep rolling down here and check back in later on. Hey look, now this is real boating. Where is he gone? There's a boat up ahead. Like, I think people think of me as a racer. If I am, oh there it is, there it is. If I am, I live for this bit. You're not going to be able to see them. They're like a tiny little dot just there. It's inside the spreader. But I can see. Just have to casually see. I wonder if they've got their mainsail up. I'll be back. Alright, update in the race that you cannot see. Let's just get on course here. The boat ahead of us is considerably larger. Now that means one of two things. One of them is that the other boat is getting physically bigger, which, you know, strange things have happened, I'm sure. Or that they're getting closer, of course, which means that we are stewing down on them very, very quickly. It's so fun, this boat, because we're actually sailing deeper than they are, and we've only got a jib up, and they've got their mainsail up. But this boat is so light that the breeze takes it along so quickly, at only 5,000 pounds. It just scutters along in front of the wind, adjusts the wind angle way forward, so the jib is actually kind of powered up, even though we're sailing about 140 degrees on the true wind. So, safe to say, it's pretty exciting. You know, although there's hardly any wind, although we've only got the jib up, with the waves rolling in like this, it is actually just on the edge of the boat picking up and like having a little bit of character. And it does remind me, like, how simple and easy thrills can be in sailing. Because you get this kind of feeling also with like a 12-foot boat or a Hobie 15 or a little Wayfarer or something, right? The closer you get to the water, the more exciting lower speeds tend to feel. Osprey goes at this kind of speed, at this kind of angle without, maybe she'd need the mainsail up to do it, but you have to put a lot of investment of skills and calories and buying the boat and looking after the boat and all of the crap that we go through, all of that to get essentially the same thrill. And this one can deliver it with just a jib up on a day like this. Amazing. Once we get this boat powered up, I think we have a lot of fun with this. It's also good, this little race, because what it's doing is it gives me something to aim at. We have to stay off the coast here, and this is actually lifting me away from the coast. It keeps me outside of my minimum proximity to the coast. So using it as a way of keeping on course, being more efficient in delivery, and it's fun. Look, they're definitely getting bigger. Okay, well, look. Unfortunately, they have only got their jib up as well. This is a disaster. I thought I was going to be able to report, like, we're on fire here. Of course we could beat another 40-foot boat with only its jib up. Well, we did win. And that's the great thing with sailing, is that completely disproportionate boats can come into competition. Some little like Bristol pilot cutter back in the 1800s alongside some massive clipper ship. You're telling me they're not racing? Of course they are. Well, I think they are certainly rolling a lot more than we are. I'll try and get some better footage of that. They're definitely rolling a lot more than we are. So as always, life jacket is on. Not clipped on though. I can actually do that. Oh, maybe I don't even have a clip attached. Alright, so update, I do not have my tether. However, on this boat, my rule is I'm not clipped on when I'm in the cockpit anyway. So that has only come upon me because I haven't actually had to go outside the cockpit. It's not the kind of boat where you go. It is literally a net. Which is pretty cool being on there with the ocean rushing by underneath, but we have renamed them recently from nets to knots because you are not to go on them because they are starting to break out. It's just a polyester, like I think a fisherman's net basically. I'm trying to work out how to replace them because they're a very specific shape, very specific style. Let's have a look here. Look at the damage. See, it's still disconnected at the front as well, so we're going to put the straps back in there literally tomorrow, so I don't need to go up there. There's almost no reason at all why I'd be going up there. It's a very easy thing to avoid, and you're on a boat that has no lifelines, right? You get to the point where it's like, you know, there's like a billion places I can put my feet accidentally here, which I then fall off the boat, which is why I'm attached to the boat. So no, I'm not remaking it to take it apart remaking it to take it apart. I felt like there was another step there. To remake it? No. Well, the point is, how do I replace the net? I'm thinking what I do basically is get the new net, and with this one still under tension here, get the new piece and lay it over top and start pulling it out into the correct shape, and then pass the bolt rope through it in place here whilst it's all stretched out. I have to understand exactly what that means, but I think it's possible to do, and then basically go around and one by one cut out the lashings from the old net and attach them to the new net. And I think there's lots of ways of getting good tension in that. I maybe just got to ace the length of the bolt rope, so some very accurate measuring and continuous splicing to get that bolt rope the right length, and then stretch the new something in there. I'm like working on it slowly. You've either got the opportunity to just put your wallet into action and get a professional to come and do it, where you're paying for a lot of skills that make that into a, you know, they can do it in 10 hours and therefore charge for it, or you can like put 40 or 50 hours aside to work it out. I'm a big fan of that. You learn a lot in those times, not least of course respect for other people's business, but I'd like to understand how to do that because it's a very interesting way of bridging a big space. It's like, is there other ways of using that? Like, that could be kind of cool. Certainly on Osprey, I'd love to do that, to have some dividing walls in areas where there's very large opportunities to fall, like completely across the main cabin. Putting a net in there like that by learning how to bolt rope round. It's like, no, that could be a very good way of really making a tremendous risk of falling 20 feet across the boat into a 4 foot, don't have to worry, you know. I forget also on this boat, like, although the first part of this was, you know, on the wind on the beam there, and I have now tensioned up the rigging, I'm not sure if there's any footage of earlier, the rigging was very loose. The problem with this kind of boat is, as far as I have kind of got to, we need to either get like a block and tackle that we can put in position and draw down on it and get tension, or something hydraulic. Basically what we keep doing is tensioning the rigging up by just going and tightening up the leeward rigging. Look, there it goes. So yeah, does it need to be more tight? Yeah, if you're going racing, this is why we don't have the main up at all. It's just got the jib, and it's got another halyard out at the front there, and it's got 2 backstays on it. So there's no pressure on anything. But still, you'd have to go down and sail along with that leeward rigging loose, and then pull it tight, and then tack and sail along with it, and then slowly crank it up in position. I'm like, can we not just go to some little normal bottle screws here? It'd be a lot easier to get this. I feel like putting it in the water, or certainly going sailing for the first time in the season, and the rigging is not loose, would be like preferable. This is the point of the season where you're deciding, like, how does this boat feel? It's like, the leeward rigging's loose. Luckily on this, it's kind of like the Open 60 with the, oh my god, with the trimaran rig on Spartan. The first time I went down the Atlantic, that rigging was not tight enough at all. Going down the Atlantic, I remember looking up through the windows in the coach house, and it's like the rig was just moving around. Like, I had to like rationalize in my head, like, well, you know, golf clubs flex a lot when they're being used. I must have thought that it looked something like a golf club going through a swing. When I got to South Africa, we managed to find a rigger who had a much better understanding of exactly how tight those trimaran rigs should be. Trimaran, I can understand, comes from French for like push and pull. So you have a boat which is 60 foot long, but then has that 36 foot beam, and that extra distance at the bottom of the rigging angle is created by deck spreaders, which are great. They do have another piece of rigging which goes down from them, which is called a D0, which goes down and connects to the hull, which can be a bit of a limiting factor when you're going upwind. But other than that, it means very low, kind of like this, where it's right over there, and it connects at such a wide angle that there's very low pressure on the what is the cap shrouds. I keep flinching thinking those waves are going to get me, they never do. Yeah, so we can go down here now. The windward rigging has got so little stress on it that basically the mast is wiggling around a bit. Also assisted by the fact that it's on something that's not too far off, like a Reese trailer hitch, basically, give or take. It's a bit more flat top than that. But the whole rig is so underpowered right now, it's kind of waggling around like it's a Drascombe Dagger. Drascombe Dabber. Now, a Drascombe Dagger, maybe that's a new boat that they should make. Maybe that's their like shit hot carbon fiber V8 powered gentleman skiff. Just saying, Drascombe could go in that direction. That'd be Mundo cool at the next boat show, the Drascombe Dagger. I'll be a salesman. No, the Drascombe Dabber has very similarly loose rigging, because right now we're nowhere near. This boat obviously can have a massive spinnaker around the front, full main up, and all the loads that the hulls are transmitting to the rig as it's going down waves at like 25 knots. So going down here at 7 with just the jib up, doesn't matter if the rigging is a little bit loose. I remember doing the Clipper race and seeing my rigging loose on the leeward side for the first time, like, whoa! They did tighten it up a bit as we went around the world, but those boats just sailed with like slack rigging to leeward. Okay. So yeah, our race was not quite what I thought it was going to be, dang it. The next race is to the headland that's ahead down there. It's just behind the jib there, so we have to make sure we don't go too far down to leeward. But yeah, just going to keep trolling along here now, making sure that I stay warm. I'm getting food in, fluids in. I've been chatting to you, but other than that I've just had my headphones on and my hood's up. I don't want to lose heat because it's harder to get warm. There's nowhere to go, and this boat, basically all I can do is roll away the jib, go down, do a load of jobs, come back up, roll out the jib again. That's how I deal with that. There's nothing out here apart from this one yacht, so very safe. But I can't let go of the helm. It's just far too it's far too much fun, and it's far too squirrely, so just keep helming till we get there.